Okay, so I wrecked the bounder. I backed into one of those big old light posts in the middle of a parking lot that had the big cement thing around it. Now I gotta fix it. I got back yesterday afternoon. I went ahead and I took the motorcycle and the e-bike off, and I took the rack completely off of it. And I was gonna say, it's not as bad as it looks, but that's such a weird saying. It's exactly as bad as it looks. And if we look down the bumper, just to get some idea of how bent this is, if you look down the rest of the bumper down there, you can, yeah, it's really bent. And it smashed into this metal piece. Jeez. I guess, it could have been worse, obviously, but, it's mainly from here down. Then, from here up is, the living area. So it didn't crack anything that, water's getting in, or I can't see daylight, from in the bedroom. So, the living area is okay. The water tank is in here. It didn't harm the water tank or the plumbing. There's no dripping or anything going on. Let's see what else here. I have this new light. I'll have to stop at the auto parts store and get this one, but I got to start with straightening this bumper up. And I do have fiberglass. They used to call it tiger hair. It's a resin with fiberglass strands in it. So I think once I get this metal piece off, that'll let this one piece come back out, and this bow, how it's bowed out, and that tear, I'll get fiberglass in those, and as those move back in, then I'll clamp them, and hopefully those aren't too bad. And I did stop and get some paint. So the idea here, and where it bowed is, it messed the paint. It actually made the paint come off, chip off, and that's where you see. That's why it's rusty here. That little faded bumper could use a paint job anyway, but that's where the bend is where this rust is at. So the idea is going to be we're going to hook a chain, or my heavy duty tow strap here. We're going to hook it around the end of this bumper, and then go and hook it up to that tree up there. And we're not going to get crazy. I'm not going to try to fix it 100% with the tree, but I want to get some movement out. I'd be happy if it comes out 50% or so. We'll just have to see how it goes. I'm going to wait till my buddy gets back home from work, and he's going to watch it, and I'm going to tug on it a couple times. Nothing too out of control, just to see if we can get some movement out of it and how it behaves doing that. And if I can get it back most of the way, that's probably going to be good enough. Or what I might do up here is, if we get it close, then up here we're about in the middle where this bend's at, I might get a cutoff wheel and slit it back on. This is a C channel, okay? So it's 1/4 inch thick. It comes out, down, and back in. And if I slit it, I have to mark it evenly with a square and inscribe a line. If I use a cutoff wheel and I cut it back so far to about a 1/4 inch within this, top and bottom, that'll weaken it to where maybe with a big giant crescent wrench and pry bar or something, we'll maybe be able to just manually pull on it and tweak it into its final position. And then I'll re-weld that slit. So I should say those 2 slits. And then I'll get it. Then I'll repaint the bumper. And this here is going to take some work. I think I can. I mean, it's got a serious kink in there, but I believe I could pound this out where you'll see. I'm pretty confident in it. We'll see what happens. And I kind of wanted to take these panels off, or at least sand them and repaint these panels anyway. You can see how rusty they're getting. So I guess it's time. I might as well take this one off too, or we'll see. Maybe not. I might wire wheel that and sand it and treat it with some rust treatment and just repaint it. And here I do have the motorcycle rack in here on a pair of sawhorses. And fortunately it didn't bend it, because, let's see, which way am I looking at this? Yeah, up here to the back bumper, I have, to keep this stable, not wobbly and shaky on the back of the bounder. This is where it goes in the class 3 hitch on the bounder, so it slides into the bounder, back into it this way. And then on either side, I have a bracket also welded to that back bumper. It sticks out. You might have seen it out there, and then it bolts to that. So that really keeps the this rack from shaking this way and this way. Fortunately, yeah, it doesn't appear to have bent the rack at all. So I got lucky there. But I think while this is off too, I'm going to give it a really good cleaning up and maybe give this a fresh coat of paint too. And there it is, the Van. Yep, the Van's off. The e-bike's off. Got some bikes in here. What do you think about me wrecking the RV? He says, get a backup camera, dang it. You know they're out there. Don't be so cheap and get a backup camera. Yes, maybe it's time I look into a backup camera. I don't know, I've never really backed into anything before. Not with the other RV, not with this. I know how to use my mirrors. Or I thought I did. Alright, I'm going to look into them and get one. What the heck. It's a little bit later on. My buddy's back. He brought some chain. It's some pretty nice heavy chain. My big strap's already up around the tree, and here's another section of chain. I think we're gonna have plenty with chain, and my heavy duty strap's already up there around the tree. So here pretty soon we're gonna give it a shot, see what happens. I'll take Bella's spot. See, oh, the camera's gone. The idea is not to get too crazy and break anything. I don't want to break the bounder, I don't want to break a chain or a strap or nothing. But, yeah, doesn't mean it's not going to happen. Wow, you know what? Yeah, man. Victory! I think we can live with them results. Well, it's not perfect, but I think it's pretty okay. Let's see, this was 2 7/8 from the body, and you can see how this is all pulled away now. And let's see what it is now. Roughly, well, it's about 3 1/8, so about a 1/4 inch too far actually. But some of that's pushed in just a little bit too, so when this lower part, let's see about popping that back out or bending it back out, or I just have to see what happens when I get this metal piece off of here. See what the fiberglass does at that point. Oh, and that light, I knew I had one. There it is, brand new light for on there. I'll have to pick up the other light, get that straightened up, get the fiberglass work done, and we'll be ready. Let's fast forward a day and a half. It's been a long day and a half. Geez, I got the metal piece off the corner. That's the piece that was all crinkled in down at the bottom from the bumper, pushing it in. And there's been a lot of pounding going on and straightening. I've used a whole assortment of boards and a couple pieces of I-beam and different pieces of steel as hammering and bending blocks and various hammers and clamps And let's see. Yeah, been a lot of work with the new vise and all those tools. It's been a combination of working over here at the vise has worked better for some of the bends and kinks, and some of the work just out here on the concrete floor. But here's what we got right now and it needs some more work, but you know, it's probably 90% of the way. But right, where was it? Right, yeah, that's a good sign. I'm looking for where it was at, but this is where it was kinked in at. You can see this weird mark across here. So that I've got that all straightened and pounded out, and yeah, it needs a little bit more. It does need some more work, but it still has a little bit of a bow or a bend to it near the bottom. But I need to work more and get that out of there. We'll see. And I've started doing some sanding on it, prepping it from paint. I just needed to give all that bending and straightening a break. I've swung hammers and clamps and enough today. So I got out a little orbital sander and that thing. And yeah, started getting this prepping it for paint. Now the bounder with that piece off of there, this fiberglass has kind of relaxed a little bit. I think I can pop the bottom of this back in this little aluminum track on the bottom, and then I'm gonna mix up a little bit of fiberglass, and it's fiberglass resin with fiberglass strands in it. I'm just gonna sneak some into that crack and then clamp it, and hopefully just a little bit of sanding and minimal touch-up paint. Same thing up here. That's not too bad. And there's a spot in the back that I gotta it's a little bit worse. I gotta figure out what to do with that yet. I haven't even touched it. I think I can bend that bottom piece out a little bit and do some straightening work there. But I do have the light off. I'm gonna take it with me to the auto parts store to get the exact replacement. And I've sanded the back bumper. I have it ready for paint. And I have this other one off. I'm gonna tape that out, tape it up and move it out of the way so it don't get paint on it. So I'll get the back bumper painted. The two lights back on it. Yeah, something with that corner. This here, okay, unfortunately all the screws came out. None of them, you know, busted off from being rusty or anything. So I'll be able to put, I'm gonna get new stainless screws and reattach that metal piece. I'll tape that all off. I'm gonna paint it and paint the piece across the top. And if you notice, actually the bounder was in an accident once before from a previous owner. There's a section up there that has, they scabbed the piece in, and oh well, you know, things happen. I bet somebody backed into a tree limb or something, backing into a campgrounds or something. Who knows? But I'm gonna sand that and clean the paint off of all those lenses. Matter of fact, I have new lenses. I'll make them all match, and if I have to clean a couple of them up, I don't know if I have 5 the same exact style, but anyway, that'll be all freshened up. And of course, and I've started sanding, you know, this one here. So I'll have to get in and get around these screws real good. I thought about taking it off, but no, I don't want to disturb that and open up a can of worms. But yeah, there was some rust down there. By the time I sanded some of the paint off, it was more exposed. I'll spray some rust treatment on that and let it cure and dry, and you know, paint the other side, get this thing back together. But you know, we're making progress here. It's I'm glad it wasn't any worse. And here's that. It used to be called Tiger Hair. Now it's called, I think, Bondo. The Bondo company bought them out. Now it's called Bondo Glass. But yeah, it's fiberglass resin with, it's used like putty. Fiberglass resin with the little strands in it, and it's really, really strong stuff. And I have my quart of paint mixed up. I picked that up at Automotive Products, I forget what it is, up in Butler, Pennsylvania. Mixes paint, a little sprayer. I'll have to do a bunch of taping off and get this thing all painted up. But I've been busy, and I have. There's still plenty to do. It sounds simple and easy, but my, how the hours go by when you're trying to make it right. You know, take your time, make it right again without causing more problems. Good morning, Bella. Good morning. It's another day. We've made more progress and there's more to do. She's gonna go over in the high grass and take care of her business. That's what she does in the morning. Well, we got another day in the garage. Let's open her up. What did we end up getting done yesterday? Let's see. I did finish giving the motorcycle rack a tune-up. While it was off, I repainted it and got the new lights for on it. They've been having problems for a while. And then the lights from the new bumper. I got the bumper painted yesterday, and there's the new light on it. I'm gonna pull that back off this morning so I can get the ladder here. So I'm gonna try to get this on today, all prepped, possibly painted, get them reflectors off, or those lenses off of there and cleaned up, and get that taped off. I'm gonna try to get that this back part all done and together today. So I'm just gonna pull this back off out of the way a little bit, set it to the side here in the yard. That's it. I've called it good enough on this piece. It's gonna have a weird little bend at the very, very bottom here, and that's just the way it's gonna be. I did sand it and primer it, and a little bit here. I'll have to patch that up with a little bit of fiberglass. Just a weird spot in it from where that real bad kink was at. I have to get the fiberglass out too and get these two spots done, get that plot back in, get the piece on it, get the light on it. See what happens today. Bella, did you get done? Come here. I don't know. What are you doing? You gonna come out for a while? Or are you gonna go lay back down? It's not that early. Huh? It's not that early, girl. You gonna come out? Huh? That's up to you. You can come out if you want. I bought some of these lights back when I had the Tioga. I was gonna put new cab lights on, or the rear lights on it. But look at all these lenses I have. Yeah, I knew these were more rounded than these other types. That's a spare I had. But look at the paint on them. And that's kind of indicative of some of the other work I've seen there, that, you know, somebody really didn't even take their time at all. Now, my work's not going to be perfect. I'm sure somebody could criticize my work too, but I think I can step it up and do a little bit better than what's going on there. Yeah, I have two of these, or I'll replace it with two of these, and I'll use the lens off of the one other one. And I have yet a third one out of the pack, or a fourth one out of the package. So I have four that are all alike. And out of all these lenses, this one's not a perfect fit. Yeah, I know it looks darker, but well, it also needs washed. I'll clean that out. And you know, it kind of has the strip in the middle. So I'll pretty much have a nice matching set. Okay, this is coming along, and I don't have the perfect shade of this color to paint it, so that's hard. That's setting up right now, hardening. I did use fiberglass in there, and then sanded that and put a little bit of spot putty or glazing putty, whatever they call it, on there. So I'll have to sand that smooth, and I hate to just primer it for now. That paint I bought is it's a lighter color than this, and that's okay for the trim work. You know, it won't look off, but you know, this section being lighter than the rest, it's just going to stand out. So I might paint it with that for now, but then I'm going to be looking for getting the right color and then putting another coat on this section. But that's coming along. What are you doing out here? I know you're gonna roll in the grass. I know you're about to do your roll. I'll catch you sometime today doing it, crazy girl. I don't remember exactly where we left off at, but we're gonna jump ahead another day. I think I have it ready already for paint. I'm not an auto body guy, or I'm more of a mechanic. I'm not really an auto body guy, or my car wouldn't look like that, okay? So, and I had to decide, pick a point, you know, it's good enough. You know, when is it good enough? And I've gone on these metal strips and ground down where it was bubbling, you know, where rust was forming and bubbling up the paint. I've ground all that back down, and underneath, and I decided not to really fix that any better. I just ground down the loose stuff, you know, any loose stuff off of that. And underneath that one light fixture, that was kind of rusty and bubbly. The other one's not so bad. And I was going to replace all the light fixtures seating as I have them, but the originals that are still up there, they're riveted on, and I didn't feel like drilling rivets out and getting into that. They still work, and I'll just put the proper lenses on them when it's all done. But you know, I think I'm just about ready to paint. I'm gonna have to maybe protect that ladder a little bit better from overspray. I'll have to see how my paint gun, how well it sprays, and if the overspray is not too bad. If I can do that with a little bit of light overspray, I just might get some cardboard and put in between here while I'm painting. I'm not too worried about if it's real light overspray, because I think I'm going to polish the ladder all up anyway. I do want to avoid any heavy overspray, that is for sure. But I think I have it ready to paint. The paint I got, and I'll show you in a minute, it's a commercial, right? It's not an automotive paint, but I think it's whatever's in it. I forget. I don't have the data sheet on it, but I think it's better directly on like old rusty areas. It's more of an equipment paint than an automotive finish. So I don't think I want to primer it and put a barrier between the paint and those spots. It's actually better for, I think it's like for painting, yeah, equipment like old tractors and stuff. So that's how I've found out about that paint whenever I was restoring tractors. The trouble is we used some paint samples to try to match this color, and then when it was mixed, it ended up being this lighter color. So this is a little bit darker. It's gonna end up being the same as what it was. I wanted to repaint this. I wanted it to be darker like the rest of the bounder, but it's gonna end up the same. And the only trouble with that is, until I find some, maybe some at a later date, if I do find a closer match, I'm gonna have to paint this section here with that lighter color. So that's gonna look a little bit odd. Well, that's just the way it's gonna have to be for now. But yeah, I'm gonna try to get some paint on here today and get the lights all on it, and then the new lower light wired up. Get that one on it, and get the motorcycle rack back on it, and the new lights on it. Get all the wiring done today, so we'll see what I can get accomplished. Yeah, and here's that paint. It's acrylic modified, how do you say that, alkyd enamel. So I think it's the alkyd that's good on the you know, like rusty areas and stuff. But I've ground down all the loose rust, so I think that's going to protect it good. You know, just getting it resealed and starving those areas from any moisture or oxygen. That's what rust needs to thrive. That's going to retard that rust pretty well. And that paint is ready to spray. It's thin enough that it doesn't need, you know, it doesn't need any thinner and any mixing done. I can just dump that right in my spray gun and go to it. So that's it. It's painted. I'm gonna let that dry, and get them lights on. Get all the tape and paper pulled off. Get those lights on across the top, and get the rack back on it. Get everything wired up, and we'll be back in business again. Okay, see how much lighter that paint is? Yuck. And yeah, there's a little spot here that just didn't work out. And there's another, that spot in the back. It just didn't work out for now either. But the lights are all back on it. Hey, it's almost as if it didn't happen, right? All the lights up top are all on, nice and bright. All the lenses match except for the one in the middle. It's off a little bit. Oh well, it's better than it was. So all our lights are working. That's all repainted. The bounder's all cleaned up. So the bounder's done. It's ready for the road, and Bella and I are too. We do have a trip planned. Matter of fact, the very next video, it's probably going to be from the road. We are getting ready to leave the garage for the season. It's all cleaned up, put away. We're done. We're gonna be out of here again. So anyway, check back soon, because it's gonna be from the road. We're leaving like tomorrow. No, the day after tomorrow. We won't be back for a while. Anything else? As always, like, comment, share, and subscribe. I'll see you soon. What do you think? You excited? You ready to go? Right, wrong way. Come on, come on. You need to go this way. Come on, we need to go this way. Atta girl.